The big push is on to get more electric vehicles into garages in California. So far this year, EVs make up 25% of the new market for cars here in our state. In Nebraska, they're crashing EVs on purpose to better understand safety concerns. They haven't taken over California highways just yet, but we are seeing more electric vehicles on the road for sure. What might surprise you, though, is how EVs outweigh standard cars with combustible engines. And this is what a 7,000-pound electric vehicle can do to a guardrail just by traveling 60 miles an hour. In crash tests done by the University of Nebraska-Lincoln at its Midwest Road Safety Facility, they discovered eye-opening results. When an EV truck hits a barrier, it moves back several feet, but the truck did not jump or break through the concrete.
We weren't surprised though to have higher, because if you have more energy, more momentum in a crash with a heavier vehicle, that particular barrier would experience higher displacements and higher levels of damage, which it did also experience.
So Professor Fowler says that it is unknown if all EVs will behave the same way as the vehicles they tested in Nebraska. It will take 3 to 5 years before the University of Nebraska will have enough research to better address EV safety concerns. Well, it is a scary sight to see that a guardrail is no match for an electric vehicle like what you just saw. Fresno Assembly member Jim Patterson joined us now live with reaction to the crash test at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Assemblyman, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Good to be with you. Yeah, I think this brings into real serious consideration with respect to the weight of these EVs, not just with respect to the K-rails. If you can move a K-rail, those heavy EVs can do real damage to sedans and other cars with families and people in them.
Were you shocked to see that?
Not really. Look, I've been the vice chair of the Utility and Energy Committee in the 12 years I've been here, and this has just been an ongoing saga where there has been such a political push that several of the safety factors simply have not been paid a lot of attention to. This is one of them. I think the second safety factor that we're experiencing, particularly in California, are these lithium battery fires. We've seen them close major highways for long periods of time. They're very, very difficult to put out because of the nature of battery fires. And so we're seeing safety issues with respect to these vehicles. And then thirdly, there is I think a very significant environmental problem with these vehicles, because the extraction of the lithium really does severe damage to the places on the planet where they are extracted. A lot of times that is in poor African countries, even with child labor and all of that. So look, there's been I think a rush to do something more politically and ideologically, and as a result, we're seeing the holes in safety, in the environment, and other issues. And the other, I think, problem with all of this is I think about the problem that this is going to have for, let's say, the single mom with 2 kids in strollers, working 2 jobs. She's driving, a 10-year-old automobile. And the state of California is simply going to do away with internal combustion engines. What is that single mom going to do? And quite frankly, those that are pushing this political decision, this ideological decision, say, well, they can use public transportation. Really, single mom, 2 jobs.
But they're not talking about taking our cars away, just saying that they're not going to sell them anymore, right?
That's the same thing.
Well, if that car still works for the while, she can still drive it. It's not like someone's going to take it away and she won't have one again. It's just that if it breaks down.
It's about what can you replace cars with.
Okay.
And one other thing that's really important here, they want to do away with internal combustion. Do you realize what that means? it means that they will have to do away with. You won't be able to even sell hybrids because they have an internal combustion engine, right? So, look, I think there's a reason why we're not seeing a lot of Californians rush to electric vehicles, and I think that's a big problem. And then one final comment here. What the state of California is going to do to our California truckers is absolutely going to kill the trucking industry in California. They're going to insist that you can't use diesel anymore, even clean diesel, or the environmental friendly diesel, and you've got to go to these large interstate trucks, and they won't be able to be sold by California dealers, and that's going to do a terrible damage to the Fresno Trucking Center. They've got 4 or 5 truck centers up and down the state, and it's going to just decimate the local truck dealers. Mm-hmm. And nobody seems to look at all of these effects of this decision making.
Well, we will be here at Fox 26, especially with your help, Assemblymember Patterson. Thank you very much.
I hope so.
And with continuing to follow what's going on with the safety testing, especially up in Nebraska. I'm sorry we ran out of time, but I appreciate your time here. This does lead us to our question of the day, and we would like to know how you feel about the safety of electric vehicles following recent crash tests. Do you feel very safe? Well, 0% do. Do you feel somewhat safe? 7% voting for that. Do you feel somewhat unsafe? 14% voting. Do you feel very unsafe? And that's where all the votes are going right now at 79%.